Now this is, you say, well, do I have a choice? We see, that's the interesting thing about it. It's the choice we're being asked to make. We want to be able to say, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'd rather not go through all that. Would you please tell me, is there anything I can do to either ameliorate this or to eliminate some of those things from happening altogether? And now we're back to the Mayans. The Mayans have said that it is humanity's desire to turn this one way or another. And we have a choice of doing it, and then they want to tell you how. So let me go on to the Mayan issue for a brief moment. Okay. Well, as I said, the Mayans, it is important that we think that we have a decision to make. We want to know whether or not we can choose between death and destruction and life and love, and why we need to do it. Now there are, for example, there are ancient cultures teach that we must be harmonious with nature. They talk about the fact that the universe is alive, the galaxy is alive, our Earth is alive, and they speak in terms of our Earth as Mother Earth. They say this is a feminine principle, and it is responding to the fact that Mother Earth might think that we're not treating her very well. Well, that would be sad indeed if that were true, but we can decide to change our mind. We don't have to be abusive to nature around us. There are others, of course, religions teach love of God and man. So, especially the ones in which are prominent here in the United States. Then there are those who presume to speak for extraterrestrial civilizations. They say that Earth is almost unique in that we are a free will planet. I mean, we can decide what to do. Apparently, this is not true everywhere and in every culture or living organism throughout the universe. But there are two things that we have to mention in conjunction with that. If you think that you are that we're a free will planet, there are consequences to what we do. I mean, if we don't have free will, then presumably we are sort of forced by our circumstance to do whatever we're programmed to do, and under those circumstances, maybe you will say, well, it's God's fault, or it's the fault of the way we were constructed, or it has something to do with our DNA. But if you say, no, we have free will here, then you are stuck with the fact that if you have free will, then there will be consequences to what you choose. And that is an important issue to discuss. A second thing is true, is that we can change things by our love. If things have consequences, we may choose to go to death and destruction. If there are consequences and we can choose to go toward love and life. And now we're back to the issue of what the Mayans have been talking about, and I think we're going to go on into that, because they have been saying this list of events which are happening don't have to happen. if they happen, they don't have to be so terrible. And they are, in fact, in short, and it is up to us. Well, I want to, suppose we concluded, then maybe it's time to go on to what the Mayans think. Now, instead of going on through all of this death and destruction right away, and we'll get back to it eventually, maybe we ought to just try to think about what the Mayans themselves have been thinking and what they might yet tell us by the time it gets to December 21st. The Mayans, first of all, one of the things that you should understand about them is that they put a lot of importance on ceremony and ritual. When I say, well, so what? Well, so what is that they are, by this means, they believe they are in touch with the spirit with the consciousness that pervades the universe. It is by this means that they are calling upon and communicating with the rest of the universe. Well, that's what they believe to be true. And they're saying to us, well, there is these rituals are going to be performed on December 21. There will be a ceremony and a ritual which calls an end to this long calendar. But on December 22, they plan to have a ritual and a ceremony which welcomes into the world, into our world, the spirit of renewal and a golden age. So actually, the most important date that we should be talking about probably is December 22, not December 21. And or any other time in the future when some of these events may come into place. So there is no so if the question is this, if the question is, should you do your Christmas shopping early or late, the answer is, it doesn't matter. You should go out ahead and plan to have a nice Christmas no matter when it is. Or if the question is, well, should I do my income tax return, or should I send to the government what I owe for real estate taxes? You might think that, I don't know, these don't seem to be a whole lot of consequence compared to the fact that we're talking about other cosmic events. Nevertheless, it's worthwhile planning on carrying on with the rest of your life. There is, by contrast, they think that they are in touch with the consciousness of the entire universe. And this is different from our current belief that our scientific folk are in contact with how to manipulate matter. Now, there is a way in which both of those things are necessary. There is a commitment on the part of those who believe in what the Mayans are saying, that the ancient and modern cultures need to find some way to merge and think through these things together. Now, there is a lot of work going on in the scientific community which leads to an understanding of what consciousness really is. And as that work continues and as it begins to bear fruit, we'll be happy to see it happen. There is a third thing that the Mayans believe and accept. They say that the earth is alive. More than that, they also say, not only that, they say besides that, it is female. That is its gender. And that gender will begin to dominate the next 13,000 years because that's the cycle that mankind, they say, goes through. So we're coming, they believe, to a new dimension. And that dimension means, hopefully, a diminution of the diseases that afflicted us for many, many years. It's the decline in our warfare. It will be a result in the end of population overload. And so those are crucial issues. And indeed, as we come to December 21, what the Mayans think is going to happen by their beliefs, by their ceremonies and rituals, what they think will happen is that needs to happen is that will be an investiture of the gods. It was important to the community of mankind and perhaps for the preservation of time itself. Now there's more to be said about what the Mayans believe, and we're going to be covering it in our next issue. It's linked to Atlantis, how we will emerge from a cocoon to a butterfly, which they talk about that time is cyclical, not linear, and what that means, and so forth. Thank you for your time and interest, and God bless you.